Hey, kids, we're on a holiday break, but we'll be back. Don't worry. Until then, enjoy this episode of the best of the Adam Carolla Show. Ja Rule's in studio. He's on a tour with, it's called Where the Party At, and it's with Nelly. He's out there, and also his new spirit, new premium whiskey brand, Amber and Opal Spirits as well.
Shit, I got to try some of this. Is that what you're sipping on?
Yeah, I'm sipping on it, man. I think
we need to get a little taste.
Yeah, can we get some glasses with some ice?
Please do.
It's rude to not take. If somebody has their own booze, man, you gotta.
Listen, man. I need that. I need that Adam Carolla stamp. So the only way to get it is for them to taste it.
Did you have on my autograph series of butt plugs, by the way, Adam?
Yeah, I have tried. I'm wearing one right now.
All right. Just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Ja Rule. Where did the whiskey come from, or when did that start? How long has it been going on?
Well, we just now getting started. We're brand new, spirit. We've been out maybe about 6 months now, something like that. But we've been working on it for about a year and a half.
And for you, how's it all begin? Like, where do you start? How old are you when you start?
Whiskey?
No. Music, rap.
Music, oh, man. When I started rapping, it wasn't as lucrative of a business, as it is these days. I did it as a hobby. I did it for fun, beat like that type of thing, in the lunchrooms, and we all get around the ciphers and rhyme.
It's weird. All right, there's no barrier to entry to rap.
Yeah.
So if you I grew up with poor people, and nobody played hockey or lacrosse, because if you played hockey or lacrosse, you needed all the equipment.
Right.
You needed helmets and pads and sticks and stuff and bags and duffels and parents that drove you to things. Yeah. Nobody had any of that. So we didn't have that. And then I realized every time I drive past a park and I see 400 Mexicans playing soccer, I was like, oh, it's the cheapest way you can keep a whole bunch of young people busy. It's like it evolved. It's from
basketball is the same.
Yeah,
thing.
It's a cheap version. It doesn't involve having swimming pools or helmets or horses or anything.
Or it's clubs.
Just cheap. Rap is sort of that. It's sort of like soccer. It's the soccer of sports.
Or the basketball of sports.
Basketball's that way.
You just need two turntables and a microphone, as we used to say. But it really started from grassroots. Like I said, us beating on tables and
We putting lyrics to those beats, or we just
exactly. That's what it was.
What were you rapping
beating
about?
on tables, whatever.
The shit
we used to play
in the
games
lunchroom?
we used to play games like we used to rap about whatever you see and things like that. It was like lyrical exercise, if you will. You know what I mean? So to see hip hop come from those
it's wild.
Very grassroots, early stages to where it is now is kind of impressive.
It's how you do have to get reps, though, right? Like even for comedians, we just got to get on stage and start throwing darts and about shit that we only know. So I'm sure whatever you were, rapping about at that point was just like what? Well, I mean, do you even remember?
Foolishness.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Foolishness. I think my first rap, it was like...
Who's getting fingered on the bus?
It was like Sally from the Valley. Shit like that.
Yeah. I listen to that.
Well, how old were you when you...
Probably about 15.
Right.
16.
Is that when you remember doing what? Like, do you remember the time, or I guess the place where you put a string of something together, where not only you were like, oh fuck, that sounded pretty good, but people around you were like, oh shit, and
Well, that's how it kind of started to evolve. We doing these ciphers and stuff like that at school. On the corner before we get to school, stuff like that. We walk to school, rhyming and stuff, and then as it started to progress and we did it more and more, people started to say, Ja is, they ain't call me Ja then, I was Left then, but they were like, Left's pretty good. Left could rap, Left could rhyme. And then that's how it kind of started to get into my head, like, maybe I am pretty good at this.
Yeah, you need that outside perspective, right?
You do sometimes, because sometimes, especially when you're just playing around with it. Some people get serious at things and they think they're really good at something that they're really bad at because they're serious about it. But it doesn't make you good just because you take it serious.
It's almost better to not be taking it serious because then people take it serious for you, and then
it's kind of true.
And you're like, you're just having fun and trying to explore, and not filling yourself with the heady concerns of like, I need to book a show first.
That's an amazing take on it because, had I been, like this is what I'm doing, I'm getting into the rap game. It might have had a different take. People may have had a different take on it. It may have rubbed people differently than, I'm just a dude like everybody else. And
Well, people need to sit back and watch their kids and see what they naturally do.
This is true.
Some kids want to just work with animals and take care of animals, and some people want to rap, and some people want to mess with computers. Like, just step back and see what they do on their off time naturally. And then that'll be what they should be doing.
Absolutely.
What they should be gravitating toward. Because other than that, you're trying to push them in some direction they don't want to go.
Soar with your strengths.
Yeah.
Simple as that. I tell my kids this all the time. It's a simple theory. If you're good at something, you can probably be great at it if you practice.
Right.
If you're not good at something, the best you're probably ever going to be is good.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So you soar with your strengths. Whatever you're naturally good at, put your time and effort into that, and you can probably be one of those 1% people that do it exceptionally well.
Right.
But us as humans, our nature is to kind of correct our faults, and do the things we're not good at. Like, all right, I can do that already, so let me try this over here, instead of saying, like, I do this really well, let me hone in on this and be the best at
Do
this.
your kids listen to you? And then also, there's a third.
They're my kids, of course not.
There's another element, which is a little ordinary misery is good. Like a little bored, a little no air conditioning, a little I got to go outside, a little I got to make my own fun.
Yeah.
I got to entertain myself. That's necessary. It's all gone now.
It is. The kids don't have that. I mean, I can't imagine a world where we had like the games that they had. Like the games that we had, it was like, all right, I'm going outside to play. You play that shit for an hour, you're like, all right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't, with these games are like real life shit. So it looks amazing. It plays, we got one. We got a taster here. Cheers, fellas.
Yeah.
By the way, dude.
Tastes wonderful, man.
Pleasure to meet you, John.
Very,
I got to tell you, man.
Spicy.
Gotta nose it a little bit.
Yes, nose it.
So let me just give you a little bit of it's a honey botanical whiskey. Mm-hmm. So we really wanted to make it for the whiskey curious, that people that are not per se whiskey drinkers, but may want to try whiskey. We're a great entry point.
Yeah, I was just gonna say
It's a little sweet.
Yeah,
it's smooth, but it's it still has a strongness to it that whiskey enthusiasts can also love.
you fucking nailed it, dude.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Delicious.
Thank you, man. I
Also,
appreciate
I feel like
that, man.
I get down.
Yeah, no,
I'm gonna have to sip this. because it's
and it
fucking
makes
tasty.
amazing cocktails. Like if you like old fashions
Oh, yeah. I was
and
just gonna
like
say.
gold rushes, well, it's amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, it's like there's beers that are like stout and they're like Guinness, and then there's IPAs, which are a little fruitier, a little sweeter, nicer, citrusy notes, and that's easier for the first time beer person than the stout stuff that's black.
Exactly.
Essentially.
Exactly.
I have to do a quick cheers to Ja. The first time I grinded and dry humped with an older classman girl was to Living It Up at Shortcrest High School. Living It Up, man. I'll never forget it. I'll say her first name, Brooke. You know where you are. You know what you did.
bumping and grinding.
Dude,
Up
Living
on
It Up.
Adam, baby.
Bro,
That's what you do.
I turned from, I might have been bar mitzvah at 13, but I was a man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny.
It's a banger, dude.
It's so funny because at 13, no group is further away from manhood than Jews.
Yeah.
Like when LeBron James was 13, I could see him. I would sell him whiskey when he was LeBron James. But
1000%.
Jewish guys, mouthful of braces, glasses on, funky hair.
Yeah, not happening.
Nate Wittenberg was my friend who was at 13 looked like he was 9.
Yeah.
That's not Hispanic. I knew Hispanic guys with mustaches.
Did you have
at 13?
So we're a little bit different age, but Ad, what was your Ja Rule equivalent of having like the dances when the dances got turned up a notch? You know what I'm saying? I mean, Living It Up was was that 90?
Maybe 2000.
Yeah. Okay,
It was so things are cyclical. And that when I was in high school, school dances were out of vogue. School dances were cool in the 50s. Maybe they had a renaissance in the 90s, and they were uncool.
Oh, shit. You missed the boat.
Yeah, I missed the boat because
Right,
it wasn't cool. It's almost like captain of the football team was cool in the 50s, but 1982, when I was captain of the football team, not cool.
Right.
They were into punk rock.
Right.
So it was like a weird rebellious.
A weird moment there.
And also, it's L.A., So that was more sort of punk rock than it was punk jock. Like there wasn't jock and Letterman. Like a Letterman, you would have been a dork in a Letterman's jacket in my high school in the early 80s.
That's crazy.
So there was no sock hop or anything. It was considered for
When-
old squares.
what year were you in?
I graduated North Hollywood High in 82.
Okay.
And all that stuff was like bygone era, that happy day shit.
You missed out. You missed
I
out.
missed out, and then I guess
A lot
it
of over
came
the pants
back.
HJs going on in the Short Crest lunchroom.
Yeah, we didn't. Oh God, I'm trying to think. I mean, I didn't really pull a lot of tail in high school. I didn't. I was insecure. I didn't like myself. I was
Dude,
just
dances were also for, I mean, it's wild to think. I'm sure you know this, just how instrumental, your music, has been for that. But it's like, dude, when you tap into songs that you feel whether you know the words to them or not, like getting the confidence to go out and dance to them was first and foremost. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
And liking it enough to want to participate. And then whatever happens after that is.
Let me tell you, approaching women has changed. These kids they don't even know how to approach a woman. They don't know how to talk to a woman. They fucking on their computers. They're in the house
or doing it through messages.
They don't know how to really engage with women or properly. It's weird. So
I don't even know if they want the liability of talking to women anymore. Like, I
these
think
days
half the guys
it's a little crazy these days.
They're worried about getting Me Too'd or making the wrong move. Or
Because if you're a hot guy and you try to get at a girl or court a woman, it's just that. It's courting. You know what I mean? But if she doesn't like you, it's fucking harassment. It's sexual harassment.
Yeah,
this is crazy.
I mean, I have a rule of thumb. If you hug a woman with big boobs, don't say good out loud. And other than that, you should be fine,
Yeah, that's the problem is it's in the eye of the beholder. And women, I've seen it a million times, at the workplace. At the workplace, there's cool guy and there's creepy guy. And if cool guy comes in and says to the hot chick, looks like someone had some fun this weekend, she goes, "Oh, get out of here, Steve." And they walk away,
right.
and then she turns pink a little. If creepy guy comes in and goes, "That's a nice dress," I was like, "All right, I'm going to HR."
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah,
I'm freaked out.
His intention was probably more sincere.
I'm saying
this is the reality.
It's all creepy guy versus cool guy, and the problem with creepy guys is they never know they're creepy guys. That's why that's how you're a creepy guy. And then
I don't want to call him the creepy guy because then that makes him the creepy guy.
To the woman.
I mean, they just.
Not a season.
There you go. That's a better. Not a season.
Needs a handful more reps. Needs some deodorant.
That's it.
Little confidence.
Maybe
a PlayStation.
They're work in progress guy.
Yeah, work in progress. I like that. A WOP.
Yeah.
He's the original WOP.
He's a WOP.
I'll be right back.
I always do this. It's my funnest hypothetical question for any woman. Any woman will go, they've worked at a place with super creepy guy and cool guy. And I always say to them, here's my ultimate hypothetical question. The ultimate hypothetical question is when people do one answer and then change their answer and then change back again and start asking if they can drink. That's how you know it's a good one. I go, look, what would you rather? Sleep with creepy guy, one night of sex with creepy guy. Now, when it's over, he doesn't know it and nobody knows it. It's erased from everyone's memory, but you sleep with him and you know it. Or you don't sleep with creepy guy and everyone in the office knows you did, including creepy guy. Which one do you go for? And they go, I don't care. I wouldn't sleep with them. And I go, at the Christmas party, at the picnic, everybody in the office knows. And then they'll go, can I drink? And then that's when I know I got him. They'll toggle. They'll go back and forth a little bit. But it is the ultimate, and it's how that you always know creepy guy because you just say to the office chick, imagine sleeping with Phil or whatever. They go, they freak out. But it's not fair to them. They're just guys with male pattern baldness and bad orthodontia.
What would be the equivalent of that on the female side? What would be like creepy girl? Who would she be?
We don't.
I mean, it wouldn't be creepy girl. It'd just be like hot girl, I guess.
Yeah,
right?
we don't really factor the personality in enough to be creeped out.
Yeah, we just guys are guys. We just kind of what you look like is.
We're not too picky.
Yeah.
Well, here's another
stalker.
Here's a hypothetical for both of you that we need to figure out now.
Okay.
And Dawson, you got to help me with this because I can't remember. But I did a numbers game, which is you got to be in a threesome, right? And the threesome is, I think the numbers got to add up to 10 or 11 or something like that. Do you go with an 8 and a 2?
Oh, I got you.
Do you go with 2 5s? Like 2 5s feels like, I don't know, what are we even doing here?
I already have my answer.
Yeah.
Do you go
1 and 9?
Do you go with a 1 and a 9?
Yeah.
But I mean,
One's got all
kinda
the
with
teeth,
you.
one has none.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I might,
That's it.
2 5s is not bad.
Yeah, that's probably the
man.
move. That's probably the move.
Maybe 7-3.
2 5s is like kissing your sister. It's like tying. You know what I mean? It's like,
Let me ask you this.
what are we doing
if
here?
one doesn't have all her teeth, does she at least is she more mobile than the nut? Like stretched out? Maybe like.
But here's
is
the
there
other
some
thing.
Give and take.
But here's the other thing. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah.
So those 2 5s could be 2 10s to you, depending on what you see.
No, but here's the rub. It's
Shut that down.
the
Yeah.
rub
I
is
tried.
there's no
Trying to connect. Jesus Christ.
there's no fooling the great magnet. The 1 is a 1 in your eyes. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
I got you.
Like
I
if
got
there's
you.
like if there's someone who reminds you of your mom or something. It's like it's your version of a 1 and it's your version of a 9.
That's all it is.
Right? Because for you, a 9 may be Asian. And for me, maybe Swedish. And for you, maybe black. You know what I mean? It's our version of a 9 and our version of a 1.
Yeah, I think I'd go like 9-1, 8-2. Because then you can at least tell your partners and friends, like, yeah, I did the charity work. Look at the look at the 9.
Another
Look at the
friend.
9.
So
Yeah,
You go high. You go high low.
You gotta go high low. You gotta go high low.
You gotta go high low.
Yeah. Everybody can understand high low.
I don't.
so.
I wouldn't go 8-2. If I'm going, I go 9-1.
You might as well go 9-1.
If I'm
Yeah, you
going
gotta
there.
go 9-1. That's the.
And then what order do you go in?
9-9.
You got to start with the. You start with it. You don't start with the 9.
Give
dude.
one a Sudoku and see how she does with that.
9-9 and
Oh,
one
man.
watches. I don't know.
Wow.
You got to be equal time, equal effort.
Jesus.
You got to start with the
All
1.
right, then you got to start with the 1. Yeah,
You gotta start with the 1.
You got to get the rub out, and then you're on beast mode time. Then. Yeah.
And when you're done with the 1, can she stay?
Yeah, go ahead, fucking hang out.
That was definitely not convincing. Wow, I saw him calling the Uber as he said, "Yeah, hang out for a bit."
Listen, somebody's got to keep the music going, keep the drinks flowing, and the weed blowing. So go ahead, man. That's it.
Wait, I have a question for you. How much do you think? Because you were a part of that MTV TRL, like that pop off, right? Like, and nowadays, obviously, with like social media and just how much quicker somebody can get recognized or get exposure. There's I think a blessing and a curse to that, right? Of getting and same with us with comedians, as far as like having a clip pop off before you're ready to actually back it up. How do you, I guess, what's your take on, because you got to experience a more genuine, like cream rises to the top, like there's only a few spots to really get seen versus now everybody's got the chance?
I'm torn with this. Because on one hand, I really get it. Independent artistry is everything. Independent artists deserve to have their moment and their time, or to be able to have an even playing field against the machine.
Right.
I get it. But then on the other side, after you see so many bad independent artists, you're like, fuck. The gatekeeper is also needed because it handpicked the best out of we had the pick of the litter. It wasn't like everybody was thinking they're an artist that can do this. Kind of the same thing to comedians. Well, you guys were always kind of like that. There was no label that signed comedians or anything like that. But you had to go through the circuit, and if you were good, you fucking made it. If you weren't, you didn't get to go online and be funny for 3 seconds or whatever. And that's like baked in funny. You're not really fucking funny. Anybody can be. I can be funny for 3 seconds. Trust me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think
Can't wait
as
for that,
much
by the
as I do love the independence of that, an artist to be able to express themselves in that way, I also believe that artistry should be nurtured and there's something there that you know what I mean?
No, I know what you mean in that I hear the story all the time. Adam, you probably hear it as well. You get these guys, they do this stuff online. They only have a few minutes of material. Yeah. It catches fire, and then the club books them.
And then
and they don't have an hour.
No.
They got 10 minutes of stuff.
Yeah.
And they really shouldn't be up on that stage because the stage is like, you got to work your way to that
But that's what I'm
stage.
saying.
And
They didn't do the work.
They skip to the front of the
whole
line.
process. You know what I
Right.
mean?
And it's not fair to them because now they're up there bombing because someone sort of artificially pushed them to the front.
Right. Yeah, you need the good support system. But but
it is a little bit their fault too.
Yeah.
Because if anything that you want to make your career, you got to study the craft. You got to, study the greats. Want to be great. Like I don't.
There's no replacement for the work. The reps are truly
You gotta do
and
the
time is
fucking
your
reps,
best friend, right? In both of our worlds, probably.
You got to do the work.
Oh, O'Reilly Auto Parts. Yeah. You know the jingle. Now get to know the guys over at O'Reilly and gals at O'Reilly Auto Parts. You want to be the guy on the side of the road, stuck on the shoulder, looking like a dope? No, that's not going to be you this year. Friendly, helpful service people who actually know their stuff, not just some kid who'd rather be on his phone. Always used O'Reilly. I mean, I like the way that O'Reilly smells. I like going in there, like the smell of car parts and vulcanized rubber and capitalism and turning wrenches. I like the way all that smells in there. But guys doing it for themselves. So whether you're a gearhead or you don't know a lug nut from a donut, they'll walk you through it. No attitude, just real help. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today, or you can visit us at O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam. That's O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam. Drake Bell has joined me in studio. Drake, I did not know how popular you were with the music, but we'll get into that. Drake and Josh, of course, is where we know you from. Lots of acting roles, lots of Nickelodeon stuff, probably blessing and a curse, Nickelodeon.
It's a good way of putting it. Yeah. I mean, definitely. I mean, it's been amazing for my career and showcasing my music. I got to write all the music for the show back in the day, and so it's really nice to be able to go out and tour and playing music that people are familiar with from the show, and getting to not having people hand me songs and tell me what to play on the show. And so it was a cool creative outlet, and and obviously with a lot of the stuff that's kind of been uncovered in the past year or so, I guess that would be kind of the curse.
So quiet on the set. That was the doc. And it highlighted all the abuse and all the stuff over at Nickelodeon, which I remember when it came out, it was a big deal, but I didn't watch it because I tend to get depressed with those types of situations. But is Nickelodeon sort of like, I don't know, the Catholic Church? Like, who would be attracted to work with those people? I don't mean the Catholic Church. What I'm saying is I don't want to get involved with scouting, for instance, but maybe I was a Catholic Big Brother. There was a big deal. Like, are you a pedophile? Like, we need to know. Like, why are you here?
Yeah.
What has attracted you to be a random Catholic Big Brother?
Yeah.
I don't have any notion about working with kids. It probably annoys me.
The thing about the doc that it was kind of a bummer was that it specifically focused on Nickelodeon. Mm-hmm. But it's really just kids TV or kids in anything, you know what I mean? In soccer, in baseball, in racing, whatever. It's just like you said, you always have to have those things of like, okay, dude, like, why do you want to do this job? And which is weird because it's like you don't want to have to do that, but it was my experience was not a good one.
You were a survivor of molestation, I guess we'd say.
Yeah.
Was an acting coach.
Yeah.
And
there was a dialogue coach that worked on the show.
And
so a dialogue coach, for those who don't know, there's people who run lines with you. So they're not the director, they're not the producer, but they're around whenever you're rehearsing. And say, for example, it's like, oh, I've got this scene coming up with Adam. I want to run my lines, but Adam's, not available. So I go up to the dialogue coach. I say, hey, can I run my lines with you? Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And if someone's not available,
they follow you around with the script.
Yeah. And they'll do stand-in stuff, but they're always around. So they're like ever present on set. And that was the person that I was involved.
Is that person behind bars now?
No.
Is there any
He was.
repercussions? Oh, they
Well,
were.
he did. Well,
Because he must have done this quite a few times.
well, my case with him is the only one that's ever come to light. But
Really?
there's no way that.
It's not a one and done type.
No, especially the way that it was done and how it calculated. And one of the wild things was that after. So you really don't know anything about this, huh? Do you want me to blow your mind?
Yeah, I heard bits and pieces. Like I said, I got kids. You know, I got depressed. It makes me depressed.
All right, I'll just give you like a couple of like, not highlights is a horrible way to put it, but just like some things about the things that kind of. I mean, obviously the abuse and all of that was the hardest to endure, but the aftermath of it, which was really eye-opening and shocking. For example, and this is pre-TMZ, pre-Twitter, when we had the trial. Well, it wasn't a trial; it was a sentencing because he pled, and so nobody was worried about showing up to a courtroom and a courthouse to support this guy and have TMZ outside, making a list of all the celebrities and executive producers and directors that are.
Support
on the left side of the courtroom, so no one was concerned. So I show up to the sentencing, and this is after the whole, the investigation. It's like a year and a half, 2 years of just the, my hair fall. It was the most it's just unbelievable. Talking to detectives, telling them what happened, having to catch him on the phone, doing a sting operation with a phone and a recorder in a room, like a movie, like I'm watching Forensic Files or something. And then when we showed up to court, on my side of the courtroom was me, my brother. My memory is fuzzy, but I think that this is who was there. It was me, my brother, Mike, my friend Michael, my stepdad, and my mom. And on the left side of the courtroom, there was not an empty seat. Actors, directors,
in support
producers,
of the pedophile abuser.
They wrote 41 letters.
Wow.
In support. Do you want?
Yeah.
I don't think this is.
Go ahead.
I don't know if this is good.
Go ahead.
I don't know if this is good for air, but I'm going to have you read this off air because. You can go Google them. Just 41 letters from, and I'm telling you, it's so wild.
Essentially calling you a liar?
Calling me a liar. Calling me, saying, no. They couldn't call me a liar because he admitted to everything.
Right.
On the phone.
Right.
I got him recorded admitting everything.
Right.
So they couldn't call me a liar. But it was my fault. I instigated it. He was immensely under, he was under immense pressure from me, that I was pursuing him, that I was sleuth-like in my. You
were how old at this point?
13.
Yeah. Okay. Keep going. Sorry, I know nuts, but
right.
Right.
And I'm just this like kid. I'm like, cool. I got this show, and I get to do what I love to do, and I get to act, and wow, everyone's really nice, and everyone's creative like me. It's like when you join theater class, you're like, whoa, I found my people. Like you like to be goofy and make weird voices, and you don't take stuff seriously, and oh, cool, and that's the kind of the environment that I was like living in, and unfortunately, it's like there's this blurred boundary of. The young kids want to be hip and cool and want to hang out with the older people and fit in and want to be respected by the director, and this is my job and this is my craft, and I want to be even though I'm just a kid, like you want to navigate through this like adult world and be looked at.
Yeah, I get it. I totally get it.
And so you get and then all of a sudden people just start to like.
But it was really the 41 people showing up in support of this guy.
Well, that's 41 letters that were written. There were way more people that showed up. And the letters, I mean, I'm not going to put it on there. You got it. They're so, because I didn't know about the 41 letters when
you just
this
knew
happened.
who was in the courtroom.
I just knew who was in the courtroom. When they did the investigation for this documentary, the letters were sealed. So all of these people thought that these letters would never see the light of day.
And they turn out to be some prominent people.
Dude, they're all celebrities. They're all famous.
Really?
Yeah.
Most famous person who?
James Marsden.
Really?
Yeah. Works like crazy the guy never stops working.
Right.
Go look at his Instagram. Go look at his Instagram messages, comments.
So
I'm surprised that
he just went.
I'm surprised he's working and Justin Baldoni's not. That's crazy.
Right.
It's wild.
So he worked with him when he was younger
a
and is supporting
praising
him.
letter about how. And what was so amazing, which I thought was just blew my mind, was in all of these letters they were like, I never felt uncomfortable around him. He never made me feel uncomfortable. I've shared hotel rooms. I'm like, you're all adults.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
Like that's like me saying like I like grown women and I get accused of something, but then my friend's like, well, I shared a hotel room with him and he never made me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's like, well,
I know,
you're not really in his
yeah.
Like, but they're all like, grown women, like, I always felt comfortable around him because you're not a 13-year-old little boy.
Right.
Like,
it's
just wild.
It's really disappointing.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the
Joanna
day.
Kern, Alan Thicke,
Alan Thicke.
TV's dad. Praising Brian,
wrote the
saying that
theme
he would write, that he would work with him tomorrow, that he would be happy to have him work around kids, everything. All of this is all in the letters. And he admitted to it. This is no like, hey, I'm just taking a bullet here, or you don't really understand what happened. Like, no, it's literally like the count
He
1,
copped
2, 3,
to-
4, 5,
yes.
6, like
And
oral
they wrote-
copulation,
they wrote-
anal. I mean, I don't want to go into the whole thing, but
and they wrote the letters after knowing what he did.
that. There like people that I grew up with that I mean, one of my favorite directors that I worked with that I felt like he was one of my best friends and loved it and all this, and then all of a sudden, so they were sealed. So years later, when they did this documentary, is when they petitioned the court to unseal the letters. Mm-hmm. So I got a stack of letters like this that I never knew
5 inches
existed.
thick. Oh wow!
By people I thought were my friends, celebrities, Taran Killam from SNL, James Marsden, Alan Thicke, Joanna Kearns, Will Friedle, Ryder Strong. I mean, the list goes on. Prominent. There were letterheads from big producers that literally their company is like such and such family entertainment.
Wow.
And then just a scathing, just a glorifying letter of how amazing this person is.
Well, I mean, you wonder why this stuff was able to go on. I mean, you think about Harvey Weinstein and guys like that, but you wonder why these things were able to sort of perpetuate themselves.
What was
for
so
long.
wild is like, see, now my tinfoil hat goes on, you know, and I start going through my life as going, that's a huge story.
Right.
Right? Like that's a massive story. Within 3 months of each other, 2 major cases are picked up at the same show, on the same network, at the same thing. 3 months apart, major cases of abuse by mine, and then another one by a guy named Jason Handy. And that's a headline.
Right.
Children's television, 3 months apart. And then there was another one, but it was at the animation studio. I mean, if I was an investigative reporter, I'm looking at this like, oh, this is my, I'm going to break this story. And it's 2004, 2005, and this is going down at this big prominent children's network. And, you know, and then everything that goes on inside of it of like, you know, just the mechanism of having to keep these kids, you know, oh, you have to be a good role model and you have to look like this. And then, you know, just like Jeanette McCurdy's book, you know, she's like, all of a sudden I'm 13 walking down the street. I get a picture taken of me. It gets put in the magazine and tells me I'm fat. I'm like, dude, I'm just a kid eating a donut. Like,
right.
Why do I have to now look at somebody calling me fat in a magazine? Like, hope she has more, you know, eating donuts in Starbucks. It's like, dude, I'm just a kid. And so like all of that like put together, I'm like, dude, this is a huge story. And it was radio silence, dude. You couldn't, and so I'm like, is there somebody? But if I trip outside of a bar that I wasn't even in,
right,
Drake Bell's drunk outside of a bar,
right,
all over the news. And I'm like, is there somebody up there? Because you can't find anything on Brian. You can't find anything about my case. You can't find anything about until now after the documentary. But it was literally like you couldn't find anything on the internet about it except for like on the official, police website or Megan's Law. Like nothing.
I mean, listen, 10 minutes ago, I thought everything was I didn't believe in any conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
And then, COVID came around and a few other situations came around. And I'm kind of mostly.
Well, that's what the letters did to me.
With a lot of this. Yeah.
The letters, because going through my whole life, right, I go, okay, there's bad actors in Hollywood. Well, obviously,
right.
Bad actors. But there's bad players in Hollywood, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's bad players in everything. You're gonna have somebody at your job that you're like, oh, he, he said something inappropriate, or he's being a little weird. You like, or hey, this coach is, we see it in sports, we see it everywhere, right?
Sure.
So, wow, I just lost my train of thought.
You didn't.
I don't know why. I just had a total break.
Well, look, it's all right because it's kind of this emotional subject, and it gets probably the adrenaline pumping.
It does. I had a point for that.
Well,
I'll get back to it.
All right. I think what you were saying was
that's what I was saying.
You think it's really isolated, then you see the letters.
There we were. So you think that but there's bad players and everything. Like you got to keep your guard up. You got to watch out. But when I got the letters, I was like, wait a second. So there really is a cabal. Like there really is an onion of there's the perpetrator, then there's the people who protect them, then there's the people who and how many people didn't write letters that just met with him at dinner and said, "Hey man, I'm not writing a letter because that might get out. That might get out one day." No, they're sealed. Nothing's sealed. I'm not putting my name on it. But hey, come to dinner at my house. Hey, I'm in your corner. I'll support you. You need a job. You need work. You need this. I got you. He went to work on Nickelodeon Disney Channel right after he got out of jail.
Really?
Yeah.
How long did he spend in jail?
16 months.
Wow, that's anyway.
16 months, and he went to as soon as he got out, he went and worked on Sweet Life of Zach and Cody.
Well, all I can say
registered just out of jail.
I'm going to write a book
Disney hires
called "I Had No Idea Adults Would Be This Disappointing."
Yeah.
Drake, let me give you a plug. I'm sorry, it's a very interesting story and it's fascinating, but. And I appreciate your candor.
Yeah.
Nonstop Flight is available now on Spotify and Apple Music. And Drake, I'll just have to have you back, not to talk about this subject, but we'll keep going on music.
Well, no, I love talking with you. I'm a big fan. I've listened to you for years, and back in obviously like the Loveline days when I wasn't supposed to be listening to it, my parents didn't know. Learned a lot from that show as a young kid. But yeah. So anyway, this has been really cool, and I'd love to come back.
Thanks, Drake.
Pluto TV is free with all the best movies. The holidays are brutal, so if you're feeling frugal, stream Pluto TV. Stream Pluto TV. Stream Pluto TV for free. Stream blockbuster hits like 21 Jump Street, Ted, The Expendables, and so much more on Pluto TV. Stream now, pay never.
Kevin Federline is joining us. He's in Hawaii with a beautiful vista behind him. You Thought You Knew is the name of the memoir. It's available now everywhere. You guys have probably been hearing bits and pieces of this book come out. If you watch shows like I do, like TMZ, I've been seeing K-Fed pop up here and there, always in Hawaii, always jealous, and talking about the book. And we can get into that. I like your story as well. So you grew up in Fresno. I grew up in North Hollywood, California. So we're both sort of SoCal guys, or at least I'm a SoCal guy, Fresno guy, not too far away. I don't know. What's Fresno? 4-hour drive or something? 5 hours?
I used to do it in under 3 when I was younger.
Oh, really?
I got a couple tickets doing that, but yeah.
So
it's probably about 3 hour, 20-minute drive.
Same neck of the woods. And you grow up, dad's a mechanic, right? Mom's a bank teller. So just pedestrian, kind of blue-collar stuff. Fresno's very blue-collar, no glitz and glamour. Doesn't probably feel like California, the way people would picture California who weren't from here, right?
Right. Absolutely.
And just working class. So for you growing up, what's the plan? Like when dancing is sort of like singing, you sort of figure out you can do it early on.
Yeah, I mean, I was a teenager when I really, even when I was young, it was the music that really drove me to want to dance. So it's always been, fueled by music. But yeah, growing up, I started out probably 13 years old dancing. And during, the later part of my teenage years, I ventured off into some other crazy lifestyle and found it again. Thank God for my best friend, Jimmy Federico. I talk about this in my book. It's like, I feel like that friendly competition turned into something that allowed me to achieve, dreams that I had always had since I was young.
Well, you danced for and with, I guess, Michael Jackson, Justin Timberlake, Aaliyah, LFO, Destiny's Child. So how would you rate yourself as a dancer? Because I think people know you for other things, but they don't really think of you that way. But you have to be good, otherwise you don't get to dance with Michael Jackson, right?
That's very, very true. That is very true. At one time, I was in the top, percentage of dancers for sure. I absolutely loved it, and then I used dance to it was like my therapy growing up. So, it became a part of me instead of just something to do. And I feel like, I took that to the big leagues.
And how do you go about dancing for Michael Jackson or Destiny's Child or Justin Timberlake?
Well, some of them, Michael, I had to audition for, and it really came down to me and one of my other best friends, who was actually the choreographer for Justin Timberlake, Marty Kudelka. We were the last two in the room for the last spot for this Michael Jackson video. And, it's kind of political at that point, and I wound up getting it over him because I truly believe that Marty's probably the better dancer.
Well, then why did they want you if he's the better dancer?
I don't know. That whole thing kind of played out weird. I had connections to the director, and I had, Marty had half the room pushing for him, and I had half the room pushing for me. And then it wound up being that I got pulled down into Universal Studios back lot, and this was weeks later. And they played the track, and I talk about this in my book. And what really landed me the job was that they made me freestyle to You Rock My World before anybody had ever even heard it. And that's what got me the job over Marty.
And when you say freestyle, they just go, I'm going to start playing this song, and you just move however it moves you.
That's right. Now I'm going to play the record, and you do your thing, whatever it is you do it. Which is a tight place to be in that situation when you know that, probably one of the best performers in the world of all time is going to be watching somehow, some way, whether it's video or whatever, he saw it.
So you're dancing, and you do which Michael Jackson video?
I did You Rock My World.
Oh, you did the song you freestyled to.
Yeah. Yes. Yep. So, and that was, I got the pleasure of meeting Marlon Brando, Chris Tucker, a lot of big names at that time. And I mean, in history, it was a very, very good experience for me as a dancer. I felt like it was like the top of the top of everything.
And if we watch that video, we'll spot you in it.
Yeah, you could spot me. I'm one of the guys on the end. I used to wear my hair in braids back then, so you can kind of see my braids sticking out like ponytails almost.
And like for Destiny's Child or Timberlake, are you doing videos or are you going out on tour?
So I did, for those two, I did videos and I did performances at the Grammys, all the award shows, things like that. I didn't wind up going on tour with either one of those two. I went on tour with Pink. It's all a bunch of different types of things, right? So you're doing music videos with different artists, you're doing tours with different artists, radio shows, award shows, commercials. I mean, it's just, everything entertainment.
Yeah, on the subject of not nearly as glamorous, when I used to be a carpenter, I got on sort of the celebrity assistant circuit, and you just got passed around. Like, word got out, and then you just work, and someone would call you, and they know you work for Katie Seagal. So Scott Baio's guy would call you, and you'd go do something for him. And it's just kind of word of mouth. Like, is that kind of how it went for you?
Yeah. So it was, in the beginning, you're really trying to establish, letting people know who you are and knowing that you're going to show up and knowing that you can actually do the choreography. And from there, for me, I just got better and better and better. And I learned all these different styles of dance of all these people that were working, and, people started talking, and that was it. Once you start growing your resume, then people see what you've done, and that's it. Good work gets more work. I think I said that in the book.
So fast forward, you meet Britney Spears. Now, I didn't know this. I was guilty of it too. I think people think you danced as a backup dancer for her just because they did the math, but you didn't.
That's right. That's right. I never danced for Britney. No tours, no, the only video I was ever in was after we were already together. But I did meet her through a dancer that was a mutual friend at a nightclub, and that's where the sparks went flying from there.
Were you a big Britney Spears fan before you met her?
I mean, it wasn't really the music genre that I listened to personally. I wasn't really a pop guy. I was always more of a hip hop and R&B guy.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you can speak to this, but there are musicians who just want to play, and the musicians who just want to play, you can find them on a stage in front of 13 people on a Sunday night because they just want to play. And there's comedians who just want to play. And you see comedians, they'll pop up everywhere all the time. And then there are guys that quit the second they get a sitcom, and you talk to them and they haven't done stand-up in 20 years. It's because they don't really like stand-up. They just did it so they could get a sitcom, and now they got a sitcom. They don't need to do stand-up anymore. And then there are guys who, with a sitcom and millions of dollars, will be out on any given night at some club that's half full. Britney Spears and sort of Paula Abdul, they didn't strike me as people that needed to get up on stage and play. They almost felt like creations to me who had ability but also didn't have a love, like a pure love for the game. Is that a correct assessment?
I think that's maybe yes and no, right? I think that, because I could tell that she does love music, right? She, in her spare time, I mean, she would get on a piano and just try to create. She had that very creative mentality. Now, getting up on stage in front of all of those people, I don't know, that was like an up and down situation. It's like one minute you want to be up there and you want to do all of these things, and the next minute you want to run from it, and I kind of, over the last 20 years, I understand that feeling, right? Because I've kind of been shown that everything that I wanted is everything that I hate, especially when it comes to Hollywood.
With Britney, it always just seemed like she had some underlying psychological deficits or issues, and that was just something that plagued her and she had to sort of deal with, and maybe it wasn't dealt with correctly, but it always seemed like she just had issues, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I didn't really see it until later on, right? There were signs, and I talk about this in my book too. There were things that I kind of passed off as, her gaining fame at such a young age and being able to have the world at her fingertips and never being told no. And, a lot of things that I tried to put some type of perspective on while we were together. It wasn't until our divorce and seeing what happened from that and the spiral and all of that where it really became apparent to me that, yes, there's, unfortunate things there.
Would you typify yourself as a normal guy from Fresno who was in a kind of abnormal environment?
100%, right? 100%. I am exactly that. I'm just a normal guy, and I was put in an absolute extraordinary situation. One that I couldn't have prepared for in 1,000 years, And so, that's kind of what the story of my life, right? I got stuck navigating a situation that I had no idea what it was when I got into it.
Well, you were young, like 26 when you guys met.
Yes.
And so you didn't have any tools to really deal with that. Sort of in a weird way. It's like when some inner city kid signs a multi-million-dollar contract to go to the NBA and he's 19 and they go, what did he spend that money on that junk jewelry for? Something because he doesn't know. He's totally ill-equipped for this environment, this situation. And so
that's exactly right.
Right. So was there any thoughts where you thought we should get into some counseling or we should talk to somebody or we should figure this thing out?
Well, no, we didn't really get that chance, because when it went left, I mean, it really went left, there was, after the night of my album release party, I went to my lawyer because I knew that she was just done listening to anything that I had to say on the topics. And, from there, it was 5 or 6 days after that, she filed for divorce, And then, when you go through divorce in California, for us, especially since we had kids, we had to go to therapy sessions per the court. But all of that was just basically trying to structure how you're going to manage your family, a broken family, right? It was never like marriage counseling or anything like that. So, we didn't get the opportunity to do that.
Well, also, she comes from a humble environment, kind of out in the sticks and stuff. She probably wasn't prepared for any of this stuff either. You had two people who were ill-equipped for this lifestyle, all of a sudden sort of put together in one mansion and told to figure it out.
Right. Yeah. I truly believe that's a very true statement, right? It's, neither of us were prepared for any of this. And I don't really know that you can prepare for fame like that, right? And I talk about fame in my book. And the way that I see it is like the most powerful drug on the planet. I just don't know. And there's people that are out there that handle it well and they, they're off doing what they love to do and they seem to manage it okay. But that's few and far between. At some point it hits you and you get caught in this whirlwind of all kinds of things and adding your ego on top of that and thinking that you could conquer the world. It's a mess. It's a hard situation to do.
Home title lock. Well, if you're a homeowner in America, you need to hear this. There's a new kind of real estate fraud going on out there. It's called title theft. Here's how it works. Criminals forge your signature, use a fake notary, file one document with the county, and on paper, they own your home. They can take out loans against the equity, even sell your property, and you don't find out until notices start showing up in the mail. That's why I partnered with Home Title Lock. They can help you protect your equity and tell you today if you've already been a victim. Don't wait until it's too late. Yeah, you won't even know it sometimes. It's not like getting mugged in the park. They could be doing it now. You need to find out. So don't wait until it's too late. Am I right, Dawson?
Use our promo code Adam at HomeTitleLock.com and you'll get a free title history report and a free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. That's 24/7 monitoring of your title records, urgent alerts to any changes, and if fraud occurs, their U.S.-based restoration team will spend up to $1 million to fix it. Find out what we trust. Home Title Lock. That's Home Title Lock. Promo code Adam.
Bill O'Reilly back on the show again. The Energizer Bunny never stops confronting evil, assessing the worst of the worst. It is out as we speak. It's not part of the Killing series. It's a different independent book. It's available now, and you can go to his website, BillO'Reilly.com as well. Good to see you, Bill.
You know, you almost made the cut, Carolla. I had to think long and hard about putting you on a cover with Mao and Adolf, and the Ayatollah and Putin. But I figured that'd be unfair. Carolla does have some good points.
I do have some decent qualities. I recycle. I rinse my coffee mugs out before I throw them in the sink. So, Bill, how did you narrow this group down, this Rogues Gallery?
And a good question, interesting question. So I wanted to tie in people in the past, like Caligula, Genghis Khan, Henry VIII, these people, to the present. Mm-hmm. Hitler, Stalin, Mao. We got Putin and the Ayatollah. Ayatollah's dead, but there are little Ayatollahs that took up for him. They're contemporized. But all the people, 15 of them, there are 4 in the cover, 11 more in the book, they influence the way we live today in a negative way, okay?
Right.
And that's what I wanted to do. So you had a guy like Pol Pot in Cambodia slaughtered millions of his own people, piled the skulls up, killing fields. But he didn't have much influence outside of Cambodia.
Right.
You got Henry VIII, okay, big fat Henry. He basically started religious wars that there are still religious conflicts to this day. Ireland is the best example. Between the Anglicans and the Catholics, that was all Henry VIII. Ayatollah, the head of the snake on 9/11. This is 9/11 week. Head of the snake, okay? So that's how I chose them. And then the numbers of people, human beings that these men killed. And here's one more thing to answer your question. I couldn't find a woman to put in the book. There were no women who have ever lived that rose to this kind of evil. And we looked, we searched, and we couldn't find them.
You don't want to put Maxine Waters on there? I mean, I could give you a short list of evil women.
I'd say they were misguided more than evil. Uh-huh. Evil is when you enjoy hurting other human beings. Now, I don't know, Miss Waters, maybe she does. But the guys that I have in the book, there's no question. Putin, who's on the cover, enjoys sending rockets and drones into Ukraine to slaughter women and children. He likes it.
Right.
That's how psychologically damaged and evil he is.
Well, what lessons are there to learn and what lessons have we not learned? Because I feel like we as a society have a difficult time understanding evil and we get burned by it. And an example is 9/11. If you think to yourself, part of the reason those towers are gone is because we couldn't imagine somebody flying a plane into a tower where you would say, but the first person that hit the tower would be them. So who would do that? You know, I understand hijacking a plane and taking it to Cuba and getting paid $1 million and that kind of stuff, but just unadulterated, pure evil, we have difficulty with in this society.
No question. And the reason is because many Americans, perhaps most, turn away. They turn away, particularly in the urban neighborhoods. So it used to be that if you sold heroin, you were a pariah. Nobody wanted to associate with you. They'd call the cops on you. All right? You were the lowest form of humanity. Not anymore. Not anymore.
Right.
And in the urban centers, LA, San Francisco, New York, you know who the dealers are. They're right out there in the corner, waving you down. Hey, I got some. We just turn away. It's okay. It's not okay. It's evil. You sell drugs, you're evil. Period. Because you don't know how that drug is going to affect the person who's taking it. Yeah, the person who's buying it's an idiot, all right, and responsible, but you are evil. So Americans have a tendency to turn away. And not only that, but I made headlines this morning, and I'm happy to do your program a few hours after that, by saying that if New Yorkers cast a ballot for Zohan Mandani in November as mayor, they're committing an evil act. Now, there's a difference between committing an evil act, okay, and being evil. So I don't know Mr. Mandani, but I do know this. He doesn't want to enforce the law, wants to take $1 billion out of the police budget, doesn't believe in incarceration, mass incarceration, but he doesn't believe in punishing criminals, okay, has called the police force in New York City racist. So what do you think is going to happen if he's mayor?
Well, people are going to get killed. People are going to get killed. Right. And
right.
They don't.
So you, the Mandani voter, are enabling that evil. People are going to die. More people than are dying now. And I backed it up on News Nation with this unbelievable stat. In 1934, Hindenburg died in Germany. He was the president. Adolf Hitler was the chancellor, second in command. They had a referendum. Should we give, we the German people, Hitler dictatorial powers, do whatever he wants? 90% of the German people said yes. Blood on their hands. Every single one of them that said yes. Now, they may not be evil people themselves, but they allowed it. They allowed the Holocaust. They allowed World War II. And we Americans have to start to realize that if you vote for somebody, if you help somebody hurt another person, you're part of the evil cycle.
Well, I agree, but I would push back and say this. Almost every Democrat would say if you vote for Donald Trump, you're evil because he's evil and he's racist and he's authoritarian and he's rounding up folks that look different than him and putting them in gulags and disappearing them. Now, the difference between what they're accusing Trump of doing and what you're talking about Mandani is doing is you have an actual, there are going to be bodies. What they do is a hypothetical evil that never comes to fruition. Right. But they would say the same thing. Not would say, they are saying it. Plenty of Hollywood celebrities are now being vocal about if you voted for Trump, you're evil. You are part of the problem. So what would you say to almost the entire left and Democratic Party who would say the exact same thing to you if you voted for Trump?
Well, I would say produce the facts. Look, Confronting Evil is a fact-based book. No opinion. Here's what the guys did. Boom, 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 boom. With Trump, as you just pointed out, it's theoretical.
Right.
And it's fine. I'm not one of these people that get wildly crazy when a liberal or a progressive accuses Trump of being a fascist. I say, all right, put it on up. What did he do? Prove it. And they can't, which is why they won't come up against me in a debate. So Pritzker, for example, the governor of Illinois, 20 years, there have been mass murders going on the south side of Chicago. 20 years. 80% of the people murdered are African Americans. Give me one thing that Pritzker, the governor, has done to stop that.
Nothing.
No one can.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's funny.
But wait. So I'm talking to Mark Ruffalo. I'm talking to Emma Stone now.
Yes, Ruffalo.
That's who I'm talking to.
But yes, or something
whatever
like
it is, Buffalo, Ruffalo. Brilliant actor, by the way.
Yes.
But total progressive loon.
Right.
I'm talking to you. This is who I'm talking to. So you have a fact. 20 years, they slaughter African Americans, gunned down in the street. The governor does nothing. He's offered a blanket of protection by President Trump to lessen the murders and the death. He rejects it. And he has nothing to put in its place. And he calls Trump a fascist. He calls Trump names evil, whatever it may be. And Trump is offering to stop most of the murders in Chicago. Does that make any sense to anybody? Mark, Emma, hello?
Well, it's in a way, it's no different than school choice. You know, you have folks on the right pushing for school choice, and that benefits the inner city black child the most. They're also the most motivated to get their kids involved and out of failing public schools. And then the Democratic politicians fight tooth and nail against school choice, vouchers, and any alternative to the public education system, which is failing these kids, and they're suffering the most. So it's really the same question. One's in crime, one's in education. Do you care about these people? And if so, why are you fighting Trump, who wants to put boots on the ground, and or why are you marching with the teachers unions and fighting Linda McMahon or anyone else who's pushing for an alternative to your failing system?
Yeah, I mean, the difference is life and death, and maybe the wreckage of a life because you're ill-educated. So there's a level of evil.
I agree, but it's the same theme, which is you claim to care so much about these people. You do nothing for these people.
Carolla, let me give you one word. Indefensible.
Agreed.
You can't defend it. You can't. Now, you've read Dante's Divine Comedy, right? Because a literate man like you, an educated man, even you have the dopey hat, you can't fool me.
I forgot I'm wearing a Kimmel hat.
I know. Yeah, I know that you're an educated man. In Dante's Divine Comedy, he has the 9 circles of hell. Mm-hmm. Okay? So the worst are in circle number 1. The evil people who are not quite at the level of Mao Zedong, they go down. And that is the truth about the world. So that there are different levels of evil. But my thesis in Confronting Evil, my book, is that we Americans who aren't evil, okay, have to start mobilizing against it.
Yes.
Or we're going to wind up, look, Putin is there to kill innocent people in Ukraine because the Russian people allow him to do it.
Yes.
I was just in China.
Can I just jump in and agree for 1 second?
Sure.
I say this all the time. Sure. You know, people, whenever they go, it's not the people of Palestine, it's Hamas. I'll say it all the time. They go, it's not the people, it's the leaders. It's the leaders. It's not the people. I go, okay. The people stand by and let the leaders do what they do, and they vote them in, and they facilitate it. The United States could not be run by the Klan, not because there's no Klan, it's because we as a people wouldn't tolerate it. We wouldn't vote them in, and we wouldn't let it happen. And so I hear this excuse all the time, like the leaders are evil, but the people. You take many countries in the Middle East, the aforementioned Palestine. Yeah, the leaders are evil, and the people basically agree with them. Or at least they don't disagree to the point where they can do something or will do something about it. So I agree with you. It's on them to a lesser degree than the leaders, but it's still on them. Sorry, China.
A better analogy would be Iran, the Persian people, because the Palestinian people, they are so shell-shocked. They can't organize. They're not organized. They're fearful of their lives. There's nobody to protect them. There's no structure at all. I feel very sorry for anybody living in Gaza or the West Bank.
I agree with you, but I'm saying it's origin stories. You know, I'm not talking about the last year and a half.
But it comes from the head of the snake. Ayatollah Khomeini on the cover of my book. Without Iran, you wouldn't have had 9/11. You wouldn't have had Gaza. Wouldn't have had any of this, because an entire country, an educated country largely, the Persians are educated people, allowed a fanatical theocrat to take over and just say, if you're an infidel, you die. That's what Allah wants. And the Persian people go, okay.
Right.
Not okay. Not okay. They could have done something, and could to this day, even though the secret police is always in place, we understand that. But if the mass people like Gandhi went on strike, refused to do anything, government collapses, okay? So there are different situations, and I picked 15 of the worst situations for confronting evil. And in some of them, like Nazi Germany, Japan in World War II, the people are at fault who allowed what happened. The Russian people today are at fault for Putin killing innocent women and children. They're at fault.
I agree. I've always sort of, and that is the macro. On the micro, when they do that thing where it's like the 13-year-old boy was running the streets and he was firing a pistol and he was in the 7th grade and it was 2 a.m. I'm like, I get that kid is a juvenile delinquent, but I also want to know what the parents are doing.
Yeah, there you go.
Who is in charge of that kid and why are they letting him do this? You brought up something which was debating you. And I wanted to bring this up because it just popped into my head the other day, because I always hear every progressive politician talking about speaking truth to power. You know, it's all Kamala Harris talked about, Karen Bass. They're always speaking truth to power, but they would never dream of debating you or coming on my podcast or sitting down with Joe Rogan. You know, Kamala Harris wanted to speak truth to power, but wouldn't do Joe Rogan's podcast. You know, they only go to super friendly places and handle softball questions, which is the opposite of speaking truth to power. And then they complain about voices like yours or Tucker Carlson's, or the list goes on and on. They don't like that they're popular. They don't like the voice. Then they talk about truth to power and they never show up and debate. They won't even go on Bill Maher's show and have a sit down with Bill because he might ask them a couple of tricky questions. So what is the whole truth to power nonsense they're speaking of?
Well, number one, they don't have any truth. So if you have truth, you want to spread the word, right, Carolla?
Yes.
I have truth. It's wrong to consciously hurt another human being. That's my truth. That's what evil is. You know you're going to hurt somebody, and you do it anyway, not self-defense, not because you like it. 15% of the world population falls into that psychopathic profile.
15.
Okay?
That many.
That's a lot,
folks.
Yeah, that's a lot of people. Okay, so that's who's in prison. But in America, they're not all in prison because they won't put them in prison anymore. So that's my truth. It's a simple truth. It's a definition of evil.
So
now, if Kamala Harris had a simple truth, she would go on the Carolla Show, O'Reilly Show, Rogan Show, because she could spread it and defend what her truth is. I can defend my truth against anyone, any human being on this earth. I can defend it. And I'd be happy to talk to any responsible person. In fact, we just put in a request for your buddy Jimmy Kimmel, who I had a good relationship with, who now won't book anybody who isn't in sync with his political point of view. But he's coming to Brooklyn. It's right around the corner from me. I said, hey, Jim, you'll get big ratings. You put me on. He knows he will. Okay? We'll have a very lively discussion like I'm having with your buddy Carolla right now. So what's the downside? Okay? You know why they won't do it? Because they're afraid.
Well,
now maybe Kimmel will rise to the occasion. I hope he does. Be a great, great show.
No,
But
I mean,
most of them are terrified.
Gutfeld went on Fallon and it was a ratings bonanza a couple of weeks ago. So now there's some precedent for it.